All right, so this is kind of like my first, probably only remote video for the class, but I always talk about this when I'm talking about solubility of gases in class, and I kind of bit my tongue for the whiteboard video because I really wanted to talk about it. I figured I could just walk down with the camera and talk about it, so that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm along the Amazon bike path here in West Eugene. This Amazon bike path currently is probably the fastest growing neighborhood in town apparently right now. But anyway, I found a spot where I won't catch any new domiciles in shot, I don't think. But a couple years ago, the park or the city, I'm not sure who it was, parks or city, somewhere in there, did a bunch of work. So this was a very unhealthy waterway. And so it's kind of a little bit of an environmental talk, but just bear with me here. It does apply a lot of what we talked about in class. This isn't something that's testable. It's just bonus material. But they put a lot of work into this waterway because it was very unhealthy. And one of the things you want to do is you want to keep the water cool so that oxygen stays dissolved. And to do that, they did a couple things. So one, they actually graded this bank out a little bit more softly so they can plant it out with more trees. Like you can see, they got a new one in the ground here. But right after they did a bunch of planting down along the water. So you can barely see the water from where I am, and I don't really want to walk down there. So this is what you get. And that helps shade it and keep it cool. And so oxygen starts to dissolve. And so things like fish and other wildlife can start to thrive, fish on down the line. So early on, there was a lot of E. coli and not much else. There's the occasional fish that was kind of struggling for oxygen. You might see them in there. One time I saw someone fish in there. I don't know what they were thinking. They're going to catch themselves a trip to the hospital if they ate that thing. But anyway, the city really worked on it. All this goes to Fern Ridge. So if you can make the waterway healthier, you're going to make the water in Fern Ridge healthier. And that's what they were really looking to do. And so they regraded it. They shaded it, and then the last thing they did, and I'm going to walk down a little bit and I'll show you, is they added rapids to help mix in oxygen with the water. So during these parts that are a little bit stiller, this was designed to be still. That's why it has this slow path, so this can absorb water without flooding. It can work its way up the path, but it stays down and shaded. And so that's more water tolerant, flood tolerant trees at the bottom. And then I think it looks like some sort of maple or something like that up here that's a little bit less so, but they're going to continue to add to the canopy, keep it shaded, keep it cool, and slowly continue with the recovery process. It's an endless battle because you have to keep taking down the blackberries as they show up, things like that. But the city's been doing a good job, and I just thought I'd talk about it. And the solubility of gases is incredibly important. And so when they do logging, they have to protect the watersheds as well by not logging near any creeks or creek beds, river beds. They can't drive through them. They have to build bridges over them so they don't destroy them with ruts and things like that. Because they're so important to the ecosystem. And so give me a minute here. I'm going to walk down, we'll look at some rapids, show how they added those, and then that'll be it. Okay, and so there's some ducks in the shot there. All right, so they built these rapids as well. So what you want is a combination of cool shaded water and then some shallower fast moving water with some turbulence to mix it with air. And that's really what happens in nature with natural rivers, and that's what they've really been trying to do here with this canal. And you can see it's also good at catching garbage and stuff too, so it's a little easier to fish that stuff out. A little bit on the other side there, I'm not sure what that is, a bucket lid. But yeah, so this is something that's really helped improve the quality of the water here. Still not a lot of biodiversity right now. It's still a work in progress. And you can see, like I said earlier, there's some blackberry bushes there. I'm gonna use the zoom feature, buckle up, across the way. And that's something you gotta watch out for, because that's actually gonna tear down the canopy that they're looking to build. And so it is a constant work in progress, and they're really focusing more on the bend back where I was. But they did build these rapids as well to help kind of hold back water, keep in this shaded area, but also to mix in oxygen with the rapids. And so that's kind of applying the ideas of gas solubility from class. Here's an actual environmental application of it. I think the city or the park, or whoever did this, they did a great job planning it out. It was good execution. They've really stuck with it, and I think in the long run, it's really going to pay off for the quality of the area here.